Okay, well, thank you so much for taking the time to join this call. I know everyone is busy in the midst of starting Q4 or ending with Q4. So, anyways, I wanted to give a brief 2019 Q3 year-to-date update. What's great is that this is the first year that I was able to complete quarterly calls, which I'm quite proud of, and we will have a full year-end call most likely towards the end of December or early January so we can get those extra results in for the full year of 2019. To start off, I'm going to review digital. So for those of you who are new to these B2B update calls, I provide a little bit of background. This past year, I decided to data few B2B digital channels that I manage and oversee, which include the Elite website, as well as the meetings and events brand and property websites and CVET. So we're going to get started with Elite. We are still keeping a strong growth trend for Elite website users since the beginning of the year. Q3 year to date, we're pacing at 58% more users than last year, which is really exciting to see. The data points labeled with the numbers indicate when an Elite newsletter deployed in 2018 as well as 2019. You can see on the slide that we started deploying newsletters earlier in 2019, this past year, which definitely contributed to some of the growth in the users as well. This slide and report is actually quite new for the update on this call. I wanted to deep dive a little bit on the types of users and where they're located for the Elite website. And we saw some really interesting statistics. We saw a major growth in users from China, in Hong Kong, Japan, Singapore, Spain, and Thailand. So it was really great to kind of see these types of insights. It's definitely going to contribute to more enhancements to the website and possibly translating the website into simplified Chinese, possibly Spanish and other languages as well. So I just wanted to share this with you. So to accompany our user growth, our Elite website traffic is also up year over year, which indicates that users are engaging with different parts of our website. Again, the points with the data labels indicate when an Elite newsletter was deployed and can result in a jump in traffic since most of the call to action buttons of the Elite newsletters drive back to the Elite website. So on this slide, I wanted to highlight the opportunities for hotels to be featured. This is the hero image slideshow on the homepage of the Elite website. Keep in mind that I do manage this homepage section, so please let me know if your property has important news or updates to offer. Usually this gets updated with a batch of new hotels every other month, sometimes on a monthly basis. It really depends. But again, always happy to showcase a property with any new content. So we're going to move over to the meetings and events website. This slide shows the number of visitors on both the brand meetings and events website as well as all individual property meetings and events websites. We've seen a significant growth this past year at 102%. These visitors also are tracked on the group offers page as well for your properties. The data points indicated on the slide is when a group newsletter deployed in 2018 as well as 2019. And you can also see a jump in visitors, again, since the call to action buttons are driving back to either the brand meetings and events website page or property meetings and events website page. And I just wanted to show the traffic as well for the meetings and events website. We're pacing quite strong this year with year-over-year growth at 95%. Our strategy for 2020 is just to be sure that we keep relevant, that our visitors and traffic is continuing to grow. So we are working on making enhancements to both the brand meetings and event website as well as individual property website. We want to drive more engagement on an inspirational level, which means more opportunities for the properties to feature group activities, meetings and events content, unique selling points, and so on. So the past few months, I've been working really closely with Courtney Olson and our web development team, Isobar, on new designs. So more to come as we get closer to implementing these enhancements. So for those of you who don't care about traffic and visitors, I wanted to report on the number of RFP submissions coming from our meetings and events website. And again, this is combining RFP submissions from property level meetings and events website as well as brand.com meetings and events website. So you can see fantastic year-over-year growth at 44%. And do keep in mind that all of the submit and inquiry buttons on group offer pages are leading to the speed RFP widget, which means we are tracking those RFP submissions as well, which could have contributed to the growth we had this year. I wanted to just take some time to highlight these three different Cvent platforms. For those who are not familiar with Cvent, Cvent is quite a large network. They have three different platforms, and specifically the Cvent platform is for corporate and third-party planners. There's over 255,000 hotel suppliers on there. Speed RFP is for the occasional Smurf planners. This could be executive assistants at smaller companies that are tasked with booking board meetings or smaller events. There's about 10,000 hotels on that platform. And then there's the Elite Meetings platform for the luxury planners. They tend to have a larger budget for group rates. And there's about 4,200 hotels on that platform. And do keep in mind, Elite Meetings has a board of members that actually need to approve all the properties and hotels that are on this platform. And Rosewood, in good partnership, is actually approved to be on this platform as well for all our properties. So I just wanted to showcase this because I do take into consideration the type of audiences for all three platforms when rotating the properties that are featured in our ad placements. So on this screen, you can see at the top, that's the Cvent search screen ad. At the bottom left, you'll see the speed RFP placement. And then at the bottom right, you'll see the Elite Meetings placement. And so far, year to date, the Cvent ads has generated 17% more RFPs for specific properties featured in specific months, which is really great exposure to the audience that engages with Cvent. I also wanted to show this year we decided to opt into having diamond market ads as well on Cvent. Throughout the course of 2019, we've rotated a lot of the diamond market ads from the Caribbean market to the Cancun market to the market in Italy. On the screen, you'll see some of the ad examples for the China market as well as New York, in the Thailand market. So this is always constantly rotated through 2019, just to give us extra exposure and visibility on Cvent. I also manage and update the brand page on Cvent. I purposely designed this page for opportunities to highlight different types of content as well as different hotels on a monthly basis. So you can see on the left hand of the screen at the bottom, the in the know section is constantly updated probably every other month. Features group offers, a global campaign, same time next year, Rosewood conversations. Sometimes we do feature new openings as well as any other brand updates. And then in the middle of the screen, you'll see two other modules that are constantly updated on a monthly basis, featured offers as well as featured venues. And then what's exciting on the right-hand side of the screen, you see the Let's Discover page from Steven. This is actually managed by Steven, and it was really great to see that we got extra exposure under most popular website for our brand page on Steven. So I'm going to move on to e-marketing. I apologize in advance for how small this calendar is. I shrunk it down to just the last quarter since we're nearing the end of this year. I wanted to highlight some items. So just a few weeks ago, we deployed an elite newsletter, and it was the theme was festive travel. And I know festive travel is very important to many properties. So for this specific newsletter, I created 8 different versions. And it came down to using dynamic content, which means that we are optimizing the type of offers that are being delivered to targeted clients with more potential to book certain properties. So a lot of thought and strategy went behind this newsletter. So we're really excited to see what that ROI engagement will be in the next few months. I also wanted to highlight, we do have the last group newsletter deploying in early November. The opt-in for that was last week. It's currently being created this week. And then some of the deadlines I wanted to mention, the last travel agent newsletter as well as the elite newsletter will deploy in December. And the deadline to opt into both of those is November 15th. So moving on, this is a high-level overview of the most recent newsletters that deployed across all segments in Q3. Most of the group and travel, both of the group and travel newsletters were on par with open rate, but the elite August newsletter performed 2% higher in open rate, which was really great to see. Also, we saw a great increase in click rate for both the group and travel agent newsletters. Group performed 2% higher in click rate, and then for travel agent newsletter, it was close to 3% more. So we had a very successful Q3 in terms of newsletters. So I wanted to give an average of our open rate for 2019 Q3 year to date. Versus 2017 and 2018. Do keep in mind that 2017 and 2018 reflect full year, while 2019 is only year to date. So we're actually pacing very well and performing at a higher open rate across all segments than the previous 2 years. And to accompany the previous slide, here is an average click rate for 2019 Q3 year to date. Again, it's versus the full years of 2017 and 2018. It's really great to see increases across all segments, some more significant than others. And I would really much like to attribute that to our dynamic content strategy, which seems to be working very well across all segments. So in celebration of our 1 full year of using Marketo, yay, we started deploying newsletters with Marketo back in September 2018. So on the screen, you'll see newsletter ROI specific to group newsletters. The December 2018 newsletter performed very well. It resulted in 1.5 million in definite revenue. Do keep in mind that December tends to be a month a lot of group bookings do close. A lot of companies are closing out their budgets and they tend to want to spend and confirm more group bookings in December. So that can also attribute to the large definite revenue that happened in December. But collectively, for the past 3 newsletters of 2019, we've produced close to $2 million in definite revenue. And then for the travel industry side, I combined elite newsletters as well as the travel agent newsletters. And we've seen strong year-over-year growth in ADR, room nights, and room revenue. Note that the production was pulled from a specific group of travel agents that engaged in our newsletters for 2019 Q3 year to date, which means all of those travel agents that have engaged in either an elite newsletter or a travel agent newsletter this past year, I pulled production from all of those agents and I compared it to their exact production in 2018 as well. So we're really comparing apples to apples. So it's really great to see that growth and how these newsletters have attributed. So 2019 was the year of new strategies and testing. We started our webinar series a bit later than we hoped this year. However, it was a really great opportunity for us to see the level of engagement from our B2B audience. So just to do a quick overview of the webinar series, all communication is sent through Marketo. This really allows us to guide our audience through the Rosewood journey of receiving a branded invitation, registering on a customized landing page, receiving a follow-up email with a copy of the presentation as well as a recording link. Even the recording is built out on a custom on-demand page for people to watch if they missed the webinar or just want to rewatch the webinar. Here is a snapshot of the webinars that we've done in 2019 year to date. Starting in May, we've had a webinar for different B2B audiences. So May it was travel agents in Americas, July it was group MICE clients in Americas, then we switched over to Europe, the audience was group in August, and then September we had travel agents in Europe, and then we are hosting one tomorrow, the second one for the audience of travel agents in America. And so far, we have 234 registered, which we're very, very excited about. That's probably a record for us, given that we just started back in May. So it's really great to see that level of engagement there across both segments. And more to come with 2020. There will be a fully built out schedule. I'm going to send a separate email for hotels to opt into which webinars they would like to participate in. So usually on these calls, I like to incorporate a best practice section. I know many of you are already strategizing for 2020 marketing initiatives, and I just wanted to review some of the 2019 best practices I've seen this past year. So starting with the left-hand side, you see joint group EDM and a joint travel agent EDM. And usually these joint EDMs occur when I receive many requests from multiple properties wanting to send a property level EDM. I work with the properties on coming up with a cohesive theme. I make sure every property is okay with being part of a joint EDM instead of having their own. The major benefit of being part of a joint EDM is that your content for your specific property is actually exposed to a wider audience because it's going to all the audiences of all of the properties that are being featured. And then for properties looking to have more of an individual strategy, I wanted to showcase two properties, London as well as Myanmar. London deployed a travel agent EDM and a group EDM this past year. And then Myanmar did a very highly targeted group EDM as well. And I just wanted to highlight those two properties. And in the next slide, you'll see some of the ROI results. But again, they were just targeting their own database. And as you can see, even the audience numbers are quite on the smaller side, but the open and engagement and click-through rate is actually quite high. So here you see some of the results for the EDMs that were shown on the previous slide. So starting on the left-hand side with group, the joint group EDM, It actually deployed just a month ago, so the attribution is shown on the screen as 30 days. We usually like to do an attribution of 60 days, so I will be rerunning these results early November. But in this joint group EDM, 5 properties were featured. It generated 79 leads. Currently, there's 58 leads in prospect. Healthy revenue of 4.8 in prospect revenue, as well as prospect room nights at a little over 8,000. And right now, there's a tentative lead for close to 40,000, and room nights at 76. For the joint travel agent one, because it deployed in July, I was able to have more solid ROI statistics for that with the attribution window of 60 days. It featured 4 properties on the West Coast, definite revenue of 1.1 million, definite room nights close to 1,300, and an ADR of $858. And then for those who are more specific for properties, London, their travel agent EDM resulted in 44 bookings, close to $250,000 in revenue, and an ADR of $754. And then on the flip side, for their group EDM, again, it generated 6 bookings, definite bookings, close to $150,000 in revenue, and room nights at 312. Do keep in mind that when you do want to do a property level EDM, what's great and usually attributes to higher engagement is the content. Yes, we always want to try to feature an offer, but along with that offer, we want to have engaging content as well, such as group activities if you're sending a group email, or family activities or destination activities if you're sending a travel agent email. And then for Myanmar, their strategy with their group EDM that deployed back in June was to target board meetings. So they were very specific in the type of meetings and events that they wanted at their property. So it went to a really small audience of a little bit over 2,000 contacts. But again, engagement was super high, 19% open rate, click-through rate was 14.6%. And it resulted in 1 definite booking, close to $17,000. So I just wanted to highlight here, I wanted to show the average open rate for property level EDMs compared to the corporate and brand newsletters. Same on the click rate side, I wanted to compare the average click rate for property EDM versus the average click rate for corporate and brand newsletters. Year to date, there have been 31 property EDMs that have deployed, which is great. That's on top of the newsletters that have been deploying as well. So if you can see, sometimes the property EDMs actually perform better with higher engagement, especially on the travel agent side. So I just wanted to highlight, even though the audience may be small, if you're worried your database is too small, just know that it is going to a highly targeted audience. They've shown interest in your property. They're more likely to engage with the content that you're sending them. So just as a reminder, here is the workflow for a property level EDM. I encourage you all to find some time with your sales and revenue team to plan an EDM that targets your individual property business needs. And I'm always here to support. And again, I just wanted to mention that unfortunately, property level EDMs can't go to an entire global database for group or the entire global database for travel agents, but we can highly segment and target, and I'm happy to work with any property on that. Okay, that's it from me. Does anyone on the call have any questions? I'm happy to answer them. It could be a comment. Is there any data points that you would like to see in the next call? Always welcome. No one?